oral historian of Scott Ford House Incorporated and W.K. Kellogg team. I have this morning as my guest Mrs. Jessie Taylor, who is here in Indianola recalling her knowledge of Mrs. Bertha Henderson Matthews, who was a granny midwife. Mrs. Taylor, I have a series of questions that I would like to ask you as you remember the day when the granny midwife was on the scene. My first question is, what was the time period when you knew of this granny midwife who worked with you and or your relatives, and specifically with whom did she work?
I first went to her in...
Pardon, can you talk a little louder?
I first went there in 68.
68, okay.
I had a stillborn baby in 68, a girl.
Okay.
And next time I went there was 1971. And I had a 9.5-pound baby.
1971, oh, that was a large baby, right?
Yes, ma'am. And she delivered the baby on a Friday night. And I went up, she had a stroke.
She had a stroke.
After she delivered.
Okay.
After she delivered the baby, she had a stroke. I went home that Saturday from my home. And that was the last. I went to see her after I had my baby, some years later.
Yes.
We went there to comb her hair and do different things for her because she had delivered the last time with me. So we went over to see back time to time before she passed.
Okay, well that had to have been a time she delivered the baby and then she had a stroke.
Yeah, she had a stroke. She had taken a shot. And the arm was swollen when she delivered the baby. She got a friend of ours to help her deliver the baby. Plus, I walked over and had a baby with my oldest daughter. And she got a lady to help her with delivery because her arm was swollen real bad. And that next morning, she had a stroke.
My goodness. Look at God.
Yes.
And so someone was on the scene to help her.
Her husband was in the backyard helping her. He was hanging that clothes with her because her arm was swollen.
Yes.
And he was on the back when she had a stroke. He was on the front porch of her home when she had the stroke. And the doctor came in there. Dr. Rose came in that morning and told me she had had a stroke the day before and that not to go home.
Dr. Rose?
Walter Rose.
What was the first name?
Huh?
Walter Rose?
Yes.
Okay. And so Dr. Rose indicated that she had had a stroke.
Yeah, 'cause he came over there to see about it.
Okay.
Somebody went got it.
So, was your delivery the very last delivery after all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. What was the baby's name?
Patrice.
Patrice.
Patrice Taylor.
Okay, Patrice. That's pretty.
That's her right there.
In what community and or county did she live?
Sunflower County.
Sunflower County.
Indianola, Mississippi.
Okay. was the community and counting like during that time? What were the race relations like?
One too good.
They weren't good.
No.
Tell me what that means.
Well, in the 60s, I remember we was in some, racial stuff going on here, and during the 70s it was okay, but it was still a lot of prejudice. So,
There was a lot of prejudice. Such as?
oh, well, just the way they would treat, the blacks, and we just was, we know that especially when we were working with them and go to the, certain places, you may meet one, the bank and different places. We was always, they didn't want to, but they would get somebody else along. The black man had a hard time trying to get help, and there wasn't no like fighting or nothing like that, but it was just still, had a long way to go.
Had a long way to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it the type of situation where you stayed on one side and the white stayed on the other?
Everybody so.
So that was that segregation.
Yes.
Was Mrs. Matthews a member of your family?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I love it
Did she catch babies beyond, well, yeah, she had to catch babies beyond the family members because
Many,
you weren't
many.
a family member.
Many.
Okay, many.
Different races.
Okay. Did she catch both black and white babies?
Yes, she told me she did.
Okay. Why did she catch babies outside of the medical clinics and hospitals?
Sure, I'm not sure, but I took it that day. She couldn't because of the prejudice, she wasn't just allowed to work in it.
Okay. Due to segregation?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she refused opportunities to catch babies in the hospitals and clinics?
I'm sure she was.
Did racism interfere with her catching the babies?
In some cases, she told me.
Okay, she told you. Do you have a statement that you recall?
No statement, but she just was
Well,
talking.
she did,
After
yeah.
the stroke, I went visit her, and she told me
Oh, okay.
the story.
In those conversations, did she talk about the medical doctors or nurses who discriminated against her?
A little bit. She said a few things.
Pardon?
About it. She said a few things about it.
Okay. Would you care to disclose them?
Well, she told me about how they were treating her,
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, she said it was trying to keep her from people from coming to her home for her to catch the baby.
Tell me again about the people coming to the home.
The different races started, coming there, and they were trying to, stop her from doing it, but she never did stop, she said.
Who were trying to stop her?
The white doctors.
Oh, the white doctors?
Yes, ma'am. Some of them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And I think that she told me that some of the other mid ladies as well, because she had a whole lot of coming there, people, a whole lot of people coming there. And she said they were trying to stop them.
Okay. Did the medical doctors prevent the mothers from having children in the hospitals or the clinics?
The mother of the children, I can't remember that part.
Okay. Did Mrs. Henderson have a birth certificate? Mrs. Matthews?
Yes, ma'am.
She did. Was she certified by the county?
But I really don't know.
But you know she
Believe
had
she
a
was.
certificate.
Yes, she went through everything.
Okay. How was Mrs. Matthews compensated for catching the babies?
You know, I'm not sure because she didn't charge me anything.
Okay.
I don't remember ever charged me for both the babies that she caught for me. So I don't know. Did she file insurance or what? I don't know.
Okay. So how many of your children did she deliver?
One that lived, but I went there for a stillborn that she delivered that baby.
Okay. So you went to her twice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was she forced? Pardon?
68 and 71.
In 71, yes. Was she forced into retirement, to your knowledge?
To me, when she had that stroke that morning, that's what folks did to her. She was still delivering babies.
Okay. So it was the illness.
It wasn't.
Pardon?
About Lewis. About Lewis.
Another story.
I can't hear it.
She wants you to talk.
You were there with the camera.
So when
You
she
wanted to
had
hear
the
it?
stroke,
Yeah, you said was she posted to
yes, was she
retirement?
forced into retirement?
You can say that, yes, ma'am. But incident happened that morning that caused the stroke.
So that was like maybe medical profession taking advantage of, well, the opportunity.
I was told by her, which I did not record anything, but sitting in her home, she did tell me that they were trying to put her out of the,
Okay,
what she been on.
okay,
But the reason she stopped was because of the stroke.
okay, okay. So were these the doctors who were trying to force her out?
And she said some of the mid-ladies, some of the doctors at nine, that when that morning she quit, had a stroke, there was some incident went on and she had nails. A nail went through her head. That's what gave her a stroke.
Oh, okay.
She was tussling with someone and the nail went all the way through her head. She had a stroke right there. That's what Dr. Rose told me. He had chemotherapy about it. That's why she stopped. And then when I went back some years later, she showed me the nail print.
The nail.
And then she said she had to quit because she
Okay.
couldn't do it no more.
Okay. It had to be very painful.
It was sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think of a pen and how that aggravates, but a nail.
All the way through this,
All the
she
way
died with that print right here.
Oh my goodness.
She raised at this plant and we went straight through her hand and gave her stuff. She already had a swollen arm from that shot she had taken. Every year they had to take a shot every year. You know how nurses got to do, they take a shot
Mm-hmm.
to protect themselves.
Yes, yes.
She had taken a shot and she said never had swollen arm up before. But this time it had a swollen, so she had to get the friend, one of our church members, come over and help her deliver her. And because she couldn't use the right hand.
My goodness, that was really something.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, do you know of any family relations with her? What was it like with her and her family? Like with the children who were around her in the family? Do you know of anything?
I know her son, his name John, I believe. I know he took care of after she had the stroke. He would come there every day to see how to feed her, bring her breakfast, whatever. Before he went to school, because he was teaching up here. He took Roseville, Sunflower once he was teaching. But he would come by and see about his mama.
What was her son's name?
John Matthews.
John, okay. I met John, okay. Do you recall any contributions that Mrs. Matthews made beyond the family birthing process? Was she, for instance, a leader in the community? Did she work in the church?
I don't know.
Okay. Did she have any assistance during the birthing process? Is there anyone to assist her?
I didn't see no one but the lady that I told you about. I don't know what, I don't know what her name is.
Do you have a story about a black doctor in the community during this period? You mentioned the Dr. Rhodes. Was he black?
White.
Okay. Do you recall a black doctor during that time? Okay. A black doctor. Did Mrs. Matthews spend time with any of the children she caught? Did she spend any time?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I would get my kids over there and see about her.
Pardon?
I carried some of my kids over there to help take care of when she had the stroke, after she had the stroke.
Okay. And what was that like?
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. She wanted something to eat. They got that for her to comb the hair.
Mm-hmm.
But, because she was, you know,
Okay. Well, how did the children interact with her?
my kids loved her. I don't know. That's, you know, one.
Okay.
My kid, them over there, they enjoyed it. Everybody, she was a sweet lady.
What were some of the things they did with her?
Well, they just talk a little bit and did what she wanted them to do around the house, like get her something to eat, comb her hair. And we sit there and talk about different things.
Okay.
She told me a lot.
So they had good discussions
Yes,
with
ma'am.
her.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you provide names and contact information of the children who interacted with the midwife?
You,
Like your children, you
yeah,
said you went to.
Patrice, and Barbara, and Barbara, who else?
It was just Barbara and I.
Yeah, and Barbara. Yeah, Barbara, my daughter, she didn't make it over. Yeah, them two. I know I can't them two older. I would go with them and
Okay.
assist her.
So it was Patrice and
Barbara,
Robert.
Barbara. I had a stroke in 18, so that's when my voice is like that.
Okay. Did
Barbara.
you say Bobby?
B-A-R-A.
Okay.
Barbara.
Barbara.
Yes, ma'am.
Patrice and Barbara. Okay. Did she talk about did Mrs. Henderson Matthews talk about the medical doctors or nurses who discriminated against her? She did.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you recall some things that she may have said?
Oh, it's been a long time.
I know it's been a long time.
I know she just told me it was against
That they were against her.
Yeah, her practice was kind of famous, you know, people would come all from different areas to her house.
Mhm.
She was a great.
So she was popular.
Yeah, she was popular.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And they didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like she had a great reputation
She did.
with different ones coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My sister had four of her kids there.
It's like I may have known her. I've been hearing.
Yeah,
So many
was a
things
great
about her.
lady, yes.
Did the medical doctors prevent the mothers from having children at the hospitals?
They never did me, I can't say.
Okay. Was the midwife the community doctor or leader?
Oh, I don't think she was.
Okay. Did she use herbs for
I didn't
healing?
know. She might have, but I didn't know.
Okay. Was she active in the community?
Only thing I know is that by Butch actively taking care of the women that was pregnant.
Okay. Okay. Well, what stands out most in your mind about Mrs. Matthews?
Her kindness.
Her kindness?
Yes, her kindness.
Front door.
Were there other granny midwives within the community at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall any of their names?
Miss Sadie.
Mrs. Sadie?
That's all I know is her
Okay,
name.
Miss
My
Sadie.
sister went there a couple times, but I didn't go there. I never went there. She didn't live too far from Miss Matthews.
Okay, okay. Were there other midwives?
I didn't know another brother, but I believe it was some other. But I didn't know. I didn't know.
I have just a few more questions. Did the males play a role during the birthing process?
No. No. That's my husband. I know he wasn't here. No. He was a
Okay.
truck driver at that time.
Well, did Mrs. Matthews come to you, or did you go to her?
I went to her because I hadn't heard of her.
Okay, well, how did you get there?
I actually walked there
You walked there? Okay,
and
okay.
had her.
Okay, you walked there.
Because she was on one street. I was on like this street, she was on this street. And I just walked there and had to make.
Okay. I was wondering if the males transported you.
Well, my husband did with the first one, you know, with
Okay.
the stillborn.
With the stillborn.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me how the blacks in Indianola were connected to cotton during that particular time? What was going on with cotton? Were there complications of any sort that you can recall? What was that like? Did systemic racism exist around the cotton, the picking the cotton, the baling the cotton, getting paid for the work that was being done?
Well, I moved when my husband moved here to live. I lived some other place around here when I was smaller, but we had went in the country, and we moved back up here in '66. And I had came out to Vietnam at that time, but I was in that where we would have to pick cotton and strap cotton.
Was that before '66
Yes,
when
ma'am.
you were picking the cotton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me how that may have been.
Well, it was sort of
It was hard?
Very hard. Because we would have to go to the field. Even if we just got a newborn baby, we would have to go to the field. About a few more days after baby born, we in the field and picking cotton, and your milk come down and your breast hurting and your milk leaking. And we had to go out there. I had to go pick cotton, chop cotton. I did all that.
Well, did that interfere with your going to school in
Yes,
any kind of
ma'am.
way?
Yes, ma'am.
How was that?
Well, the boss man would tell my father and them to, we went to school 1 or 2 days out the week,
1 or 2 days out of the week?
and then they would tell my mom and them that we had to go to the field tomorrow, and we couldn't go to school. When I started school, I was 9.
When you were 9?
I didn't start school till I was 9. And then couldn't go regular. No way. Yes, we had to get cotton. And chop cotton, we would get up at 6 o'clock. We we had to be in the field actually at 6, and they wake us at 6, 6 o'clock at night. And we would get like $3 a week.
So,
No, get me wrong. It was $3 a day for top.
you work 3 hours every day,
No, man, it's 12 hours.
12 hours.
Yes, ma'am. From 6 to 6, we'll be in the field. We come home a little lunch and go back to the field. Sometimes we ate in the field. They would bring your little snack to the field and let you eat. And you go back to the cotton or chopping cotton. Yes, ma'am. So it was real hard back then.
So, how many months did you go to school and pick the cotton? How many months did you go to school? And how many months did you pick the cotton?
Well, a lot of school going on. If it was chopping time, we still can go about 2 or 3 days in a week. And you had to go back. Each week you're going to have to go to schools, some, and if he said go to the field, you got to get chop cotton or pick cotton.
Well, when the cotton was done, when you got through picking the cotton, what happened? What did you do with it after you picked it?
Oh, they would weigh it up and, what my father knows, what they call it, sharecropping. Sharecropping.
Okay.
If he had, like, he'd give you so much to work for you and your family. Well, at the end of the year, they will always tell Dad and them they come out in the hall. I know you heard that. In the hall.
Front door.
Then you still owe me. So they're gonna make him head stay on that man place again to work for him another year. Unless another white man pay that white man off, and we still could move in. That's where that was. And so we never did make any money, because every year the white man just said, you say no. That means you ain't gonna get no money, money from me for working that crop. You just gonna work your crop and my crop. Because sometimes we would have to leave our
Front door.
so-called crop and go work in his field. It'd be time for us to give our cotton too, but he'd make us go to his field.
You worked your crop
Yes, ma'am.
and went to another man's field.
Yeah, the boss man, he would give us some way to work. He said, we trying to work in to make some extra money in a year. But most times he didn't give you none. He just said, you just working enough to pay all the debt that you owe me for furnishing. They call it furnish back then. In March, they would give you some grocery, a certain amount of grocery, every 3 months till the field time come back. And then they'll pay you a little place of money for working for them.
So you never cleared the debt?
No, man, never cleared nothing.
Well, what happened in never clearing the debt? I mean, how did you?
He was just making them work the whole year, picking the cotton and ginning cotton. But he'll tell them they just come out, did enough to pay him off. For the little money he'd be let them have for the crops and things started back. He would let you have groceries and stuff like that in March of the year. He would give them a certain amount of credit. And then he'd tell them at the end of the year, they made just enough to pay that debt off.
Well, how long did you do that?
Well, I left home at 15. I married at 15. And I did tell I left home I said about, I guess they sent us to the field about 6 or 7 years old. We was in the field.
From 6 or 7 to 15 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, at the age of 15, when you left, were you held accountable for continuing to pay the debt?
No, ma'am. It was my mother's father. That's who they had charged with the debt. Your mother, your father, and mother.
Okay.
But I had to pick cotton. I married at 15.
Okay, you did it from ages 6 or 7 all the way to 15. So what was your education like at age 15?
I started school like I told you at 9.
Started school at 9.
I quit school in the 5th grade.
You went all the way to the 5th grade.
And I quit and got married at 15. So that's like,
Okay, that is really very touching
yes, ma'am.
to hear you talk like that.
Yeah, I'm a slave.
Right.
Some of the slavery, I got it.
Mhm.
You know, how to be with some of the slavery. My mom and my brother had to nurse me in the field while they pick out. I was an arm baby, and they had to put me in the field with my brother. He was a knee baby. He had stayed back there in the field with me. But he and dad had to go around and pick the cotton.
So was that their way of watching the children?
She didn't find nobody to watch us. Yeah, she had two at that time, at different time. And she left me with my uncle. And he was a young teenager too, but he threw me on the heater and got my face got burned. He said I fell on the heater, but he kind of mean. I grew up with him, and I think he just put me on the heater. Yes, ma'am. And burned my face. Yes, ma'am. But after that, she took me to the field. Let my oldest brother, which he got about 2 years on me. And had the baby and the baby laying back there on the paddle in the cotton field while they pick cotton. I had to get it out the field, you know, before a certain time, like December or something. Before December, he would have a scrapping cotton.
So about how old were you then when you were in the field, when you first were in the field and your mother was watching?
Well, my brother.
You and your
yeah,
brother.
Yeah. How old I was? She said I was a month old. She didn't give me the exact one, but I wasn't walking. I was just a little baby.
Oh, okay, okay.
Time to get dad some of the cuss.
So you and your brother were in the field the entire time until, what did you say, the 12 hours?
Yeah, we went
That
that sun.
each day?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sun up to sundown. That had to be very difficult.
So we had to do it.
Is there anything else that you could possibly think of that maybe you would want to share about the sharecropping situation?
Well, it wasn't so good.
Yes, I
It
can
wasn't so
imagine.
good how we went through some stuff. You know, the person and stuff. Like I said, we was if we wanted to move, then this boss man will have to pay that boss man off simply because they say you still owe me. Then he'll come pay that. If he wants you to wait for him instead of that man another year, he'll pay so-called pay your debt out to the other white man. Then we will move to that place. And the story of my father, he was just, I was a little girl, and they took him out the house that night. And when he came back in the house, his head was bleeding right here because he was getting ready to move off his man's place. And they said it was one of our uncles told the white man that my dad was finna move. So him and his brother came there that night and got my dad. He killed him somewhere. He caused up eating him up in there, slip off the place and move.
Beat your daddy?
Yeah, they really didn't beat him up, but they hit him right here with a black guy. And when he came back, blood come out there, he asked the little girl, when I see that, I had a hate, you know, but when I got saved, I let it go, but that mirror of him just bleeding out his face like that, and I know who had did it, cause me feel bad about white folks at that time, and I never forgot it.
Yeah, I can feel that myself, just listening to you talk about it. So did your, after that happen, did you move on? Did the father continue with the plan?
He moved, yeah, he moved.
Okay.
He still moved, but, you know, he tried to teach him a lesson, I guess.
Well, I've been talking with the person I interviewed, tried just over the phone, trying to get an interview rather, and he shared some things in terms of his relatives, because he's far down in the family, like baby.
Yeah.
But the older people, lots of, he said all of his relatives were born by a midwife, but they don't want to talk about it. They have suppressed the memory because it was so bad.
Yes.
And as I was listening to you, my mind went back to that telephone conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
It was so bad, he said. And so I've not been able to get an interview.
Yeah, because I was born at home in the bed. I was my mother's second child, and she had me at home. Yes, ma'am.
Born at home. And I understand that some of the babies were born in the field.
Quite sure it did. Thought it would make you go till you get ready to have that.
It had to be very difficult. Well, my final question is for you, Mrs. Taylor. Do you have any artifacts about Mrs. Bertha Henderson Matthews? Any artifacts like birth certificates? You said Patrice was born. Like her birth certificate, a copy of her birth certificate?
Go ahead, Patricia.
Oh, well, it's in my possession. Can I talk? It's in, I don't know, I think I can check and see if it's in my car.
Take a long time.
Well, I can, yeah, I have it. I think I have it. I don't know, doctor, I know you didn't want me, I didn't want to speak for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only one I got. I don't have a record of my first baby.
If we could possibly get a copy of that, that would be good for
Sure, that's
the
what
Smith Robertson Museum.
Yes, ma'am. What you want?
Yes, I'm gonna look for it.
Will be twisted.
I'm gonna try, I think it's in my car.
Okay, it ain't gonna be long. I thought she had.
Okay.
But I know.
She said she got it in the car, she
I think
think.
it's in.
She got it.
Yeah,
I think I have it.
We don't want to have her. I remember I had this year born in 68, and her is 71. So I don't remember nothing. No history about my first
Front door.
But Patricia, I do have a first slip.
Okay.
I thought she had it with her in her hand.
Call from
Well, do you
Front
have
door.
a picture of Mrs. Matthews?
I do not.
Okay. And so we thank you for this interview. We are very happy that you allowed us, Mrs. Jessie Taylor, to come from Scott Ford House Incorporated and W.K. Kellogg team to interview you here on Saturday, October the 16th, 2021. Our videographer is Mr. Oshan Brewer, and we are so excited again that you have opened up your beautiful home here in Indianola. I am Dr. Janice K. Neal Vincent, oral historian, Scott Ford House Incorporated, W.K. Kellogg team. And it was a pleasure to interview you regarding the Mississippi Granny Midwife, Mrs. Bertha Henderson Matthews, who delivered 2 of your children. Thank you so much.
The time is 11:30.
11:20?
30.
Okay, thank you very much. So.